without unfriending me. They basically changed how and what I could see on their Facebook. So I can see that we're still friends, but I can't see anything ever that I'm not actually tagged in on their social media. So that was a new one that happened last year during my depressive episode. And the ones that actually deserve to be in my life stuck around and they get it, they understand, and they say, "Yep, welcome back. Here's what you missed." And they show up in love for me. My partner shows up in love for me. He understands that I'm going to go through these depressive episodes. And he stuck through the first one and the second one and the third one because he's crazy that way. But we love him for being so crazy. And we all know, or those that go through depressive episodes understand that you're really just surviving at that time as best as you can. And then I also, when I was reflecting on what to say for this presentation, it brought me back to the horrible pandemic that we all want to ignore that ever happened, but unfortunately did. During the pandemic, I lost my business. I lost my friendship with the co-founder of that business. I lost many other friendships as well because of everyone was going through during the business or during the pandemic. I started a couple more businesses. They did really well because they were pandemic related. And people were always asking, "Well, what are you doing now? Why can't you just stick with one thing?" Because I physically can't. It's not capable in my brain. Also, during the pandemic, my brother was hospitalized for 7 months. My own son was hospitalized twice. And we went through a lot. We had to move 3 times as well during the pandemic. So here I was, 44 years old, and my family, I was trying to keep everything together. I was still trying to earn income. And it was still the constant, what is wrong with me that I can't manage the same way that other people are? Why is it that my family, even though all that we want to do is be at home, we are not happy either? And during my son's hospitalization, he actually had to go live with his dad. He has profound autism and intellectual disability. And his communication to let us know that, as we found out 4 months later, was actually gallstones and gall sludge. And therefore, he needed his first surgery ever. But his communication to tell us that when he's nonverbal was to beat me up for 2 months straight every single day at 2 o'clock. It was literally this witching hour every single day. So not only were we going through this entire COVID situation, I was trying to figure out how am I supposed to earn income now as a single mom. Well, I've been a single mom for 15 years now, but it was just different during COVID. And the only way that I could earn income was as a business owner myself, and that was it. Because I just don't understand the managers, and that's just the way it is. But my son then had to go live with his dad because the hospital would not release him to me, having seen him beating me up. So it shouldn't be too much of a surprise, just based off of the little part of my life that I have told you about in this, is that I have depression, I have anxiety, I have complex PTSD. And then last year, I decided to just throw in a late diagnosis of ADHD. But now that I go back to those two assessment reports that my parents had me do in my OAC year, I've now dated myself for, if you're in Canada, that's the equivalent of grade 13 for high school. And then again, when I was about 25, everything is so clear on those pieces of paper in the reports that these are my diagnoses. But all that came out then was there's some executive dysfunction and there's a little bit of cognitive something or other there, but not enough for a diagnosis. It's just that she's figured out how to be able to have the tools in place to be able to function on a very high level. And now I actually work also in a college where I work solely with students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. I love this job. I come home so frustrated and so happy almost every single day. And I've set up now everything in my life and everyone in my life where we all celebrate our neurosparkliness, our neurodivergence, our neurospiciness, whatever you want to call it. And I repurpose the word weird, right? All of my students have been called weird their entire lives. I've been called too independent. I've been called all those names. And my students were amazed that my partner and I actually refer to each other as our respective weirdos because he's got his own neurodivergency himself as well. I have mine, and almost 3 years in, he still thinks that all of my neurosparkliness is cute, adorable, and hilarious. And on those stressful days, I know that I have my fidgets all around the house. I have my sparkly things all around the house. I have my weighted blanket. And I now also factor in downtime for my brain, for my energy. And it's how I've been able to manage through the all of the diagnoses that I have. And I know that other people with the exact same diagnoses actually see themselves as being quote unquote disabled. Whereas I don't. I just see it as I have a very, very sparkly world. And if you don't like my sparkles, then that's not my problem. You don't need to be in my world. And I'm okay with that now. I'm turning 50 this year. Menopause is in full swing. That complicates all the neurodivergencies even more. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to overperform. I'm always going to over deliver. I'm always going to over explain, over function, over energy, everything. But I'm no longer going to lose myself in the chaos and actually believe other people when they tell me that I'm being too dramatic, too lazy, or especially too much. And that's just the way it is now, and I won't apologize for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed my ramblings. I hope I actually rambled coherently. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to take them. I have not been checking the chat, so I'm going to scroll through them now. So
Well, Megan, first and foremost, Roxy, that was the fastest hand raise in the history of hand raises. But I'm going to go before you. I love being the co host. Megan, I absolutely love that. And I love how you said about your significant other that you both call each other weirdos, because I
he's
do that.
actually on here as well. He snuck in as
Oh,
into
that's
the Zoom
awesome. I'm
too.
glad he came in. You know, I have always said I don't trust anybody that says that they're normal, because if you think you're normal, and that, I hope people catch this movie reference, then, and you're not Abby normal, then I don't really want to be around you. Did anybody get that movie reference, Abby normal?
I did not. I'm
Young
sorry.
Young Frankenstein, Gene Wilder. Okay,
My partner probably did. So he's
Yeah,
Mel
a big
Brooks
movie buff.
directed that movie back in way back when when he was young. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. Thank God. Anyways, I would say the movie quote, but I could go on for a long time, but I won't do that. You know, when you can embrace being a weirdo, abnormal, that's when life is a ton of fun. So, Megan, I absolutely love that because, since I was a kid, I was diagnosed with ADD. all that stuff. And I've gone through some of the similar challenges that we have heard throughout this. My medical history is complex, but it's complex in a different way. But I want to congratulate you on um, sharing what you share. But I do want to challenge you on something.
Please do.
At the end, you said, I hope that came out coherently.
Mhm.
Don't say that anymore because it came from your heart and it was beautifully said. Believe it, embrace it, because when you share something from your heart, it's going to come out perfectly. It's going to come out beautifully. You may stumble over some things over time, but just embrace it, enjoy it, have fun with it, and just be you because that's what Michael has built here. Okay.
Yeah, I
And
love that. Thank you for challenging me on that. I appreciate that very much.
you're very welcome. So, with that being said, we're going to pick Michael. I'm kidding, Roxy. Go ahead.
Okay, little brother. I'll I'll find something another time. To make you laugh. Cheryl, I'm sorry. Nope. Megan,
Yes. Hi, Roxy.
you're like a sister to me, you know. I mean, similar issues, similar problems. I have to be a double whammy business owner because, you know, I'm so misunderstood that there might even be a hate Roxy club right now over
Oh, honey,
stupidity,
I've
right?
blocked all the hate Megan
I mean,
clubs.
like literally, there's a little stupid hate Roxy club
Mhm.
over like people just misunderstanding. I'm so misunderstood because it's like, how do I what? Wait, what? And like, I have a media company, so I'm not allowed to be a reporter on anything. But and I'm only allowed to give resource coordination. I'm sure you get this because I came
Yeah,
from the government nonprofit world too. So I'm only allowed to give resource coordination within my company, but my company really is not allowed to be a media company because it says the word disability. Oh, I
correct.
didn't know that. I didn't know that you were running my company. I didn't know that. So I didn't know that I'm not, yeah. So and you're a sparkling sister. You're, you know,
Oh,
I'd
I
love
love
to,
that term, a sparkling sister.
right?
Love that.
I didn't even
Thank
tell
you.
you my theme is a hug knows no disability, but now I think it should be a sparkling hug knows no disability.
I love it.
So, but like Cheryl, I don't know why I keep saying that's the brain injury.
It's
Megan
just
and
all the
Cheryl, I'm hugging
Cheryl's
you too,
commenting in the chat, so you're
right?
probably
Like I'm
seeing that.
hugging you too, Cheryl. You're in this conversation, you just didn't know it. But Megan, I literally am like, yeah, I'm like, I'm nodding the whole time because I'm like, yep, 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 yep. You know, I mean, I mean, I was like put into timeout chairs in all my jobs. You know, like, you know, you're really, really good at this, but why can't you do that? We don't really understand. I'm like, oh, but you're a disability organization. Like, I'm sorry. I thought you knew disability. How do you not okay, thanks for having a party over there.
Yeah,
You know, and you know, it's like we're gonna have good days and we're gonna have bad days. Even those good days, we can still find time to sparkle. And those bad days, we can still times find a sparkle, but sometimes we need rest and downtime. And it's okay because, you know, we have to. But yeah, I would love to like chit chat with you. You too, Cheryl. I'd love to chit chat with you at some point because I just think there's a lot of common. And,
absolutely.
you know, and I feel like when I even read your bio, I was like, ooh, she like me. And I was
Thank you
like,
for
oh, and now you're a sparkling sister. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, yeah, we really do need to find each other and interact. And I've got some cool things happening and would love to just pick your brain and
Yeah.
learn,
Let's do a virtual
especially,
tea. It's all good.
yes. And I mean, you know, the differences too from like, I lived in Arizona, I moved to the New England area, brutal. Arizona was hard, but not as brutal here. They like beat me down until I was like ready to go crawl under a rock. And Roxy Rocker. Um, and but you know, I would really be curious what Canada was like. But I think when we're unique and we are who we are, it's very, very difficult to kind of conform into a, you know, into the bossy world and the these are the rules world when we're trying to understand what's the concept and what are you trying to do. Yeah.
Absolutely love that,
I
Rox.
wouldn't
Yeah.
say that I
Eh,
can
Megan,
speak for all of Canada, for example, but I also grew up in a very privileged situation in my family. So people, I think, are very, very surprised when they realize that I'm just going all wacky. And I start unmasking in front of people, and they go, "Whoa, what's happening here?" And I don't care. I'm, it hurts me to mask now. So I just keep going. And
absolutely love that, Megan. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It was absolutely beautiful. We got to keep this thing rolling. So thank you for joining us. Your story is absolutely incredible. And that's what I love about what Michael has built here, because everybody is connecting and networking, and these different stories of invisible disabilities is the purpose and the reason behind Michael's movement here, is to connect, because there's intertwining networking and themes here that I didn't even know, with what Mary was struggling with, or Roxy, and getting to know you, Megan, and with Dr. Baker and all of that. So I want to hand this over to our fearless leader, because he is the reason why we are here. And, Michael, what do you got for us, bro?
Well, I just want to thank um, Megan for the what she said, and it was powerful and meaningful. And I was glad to we've met, but like we haven't really spoken on a deep level as like today. So I appreciate it. And the one thing I wanted to definitely connect with you on is your intellectual like learning disabilities. I when I was young, like I was taking college math in high school, in high school math in college, and I couldn't pass algebra, so it was definitely a struggle. So I appreciate what you've been through, and thank you for sharing.
thank you so much for inviting me, Michael. I know that I was supposed to speak on this platform like a year ago, year and a half ago, something like that, but you ended up being sick that day, so
Yeah.
we had to cancel it. So ever since then, I've just been waiting for the right topic.
Thank you.
So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you, Michael. And Cheryl just said in the chat, I wish we could meet in person. Who knows, Cheryl? Maybe someday we'll take the stories of diversity into a live event. Who knows? We know people that love Michael and would love to support Michael to make that happen. Um, who knows? That might be a bug to put in Mr. Humble's ear, and you never know. Hint, hint, wink, wink. And we'll see what happens.
Oh, I'll
Ladies and
hold you guys
gentlemen,
accountable. Just saying.
yeah,
Your accountability partner on the event.
yeah, I know. And I know a certain red bearded man that I meet with on a weekly basis that I might drop that. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that could actually happen.
yeah, in San Diego, it's a beautiful spot. I used to go down there on a yearly basis on Halloween for the not so scary Mickey Halloween trick or treat. So, and there's another good reason to go down there, because Dr. Rob is there, Megan Hurley is there, and the Hummels are there. So there's three new reasons, right? We'll see. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, I've got an incredible soul that we're going to introduce here. And this is his second time speaking publicly ever. And he crushed the mountain summit a week ago. He changed over 40 professional speakers' lives on that. Sorry. Somebody's coming downstairs, and I was just getting on a roll here. And my parents have a tendency to come in when we're doing stuff like this, and I love them. It's okay, girls. Thanks, guys. Love ya. But Travis came on and changed the lives of over 40 amazing speakers that poured into my community. And there was a beautiful tribute from an amazing soul on a Facebook Live. This is Travis Kemersel, y'all. And I probably butchered that.
No, no, you did good. You got it right.
Awesome. But
Awesome.
Travis,
Go ahead.
but no worries, man. Travis has a beautiful, incredible story, y'all, that Mr. Michael Faber introduced me to him about 3 weeks ago. And I reached out to him and I shared with him about my mission. And then I was thrilled when Michael Hummel told me that Travis was going to take the Wheels and Warriors, Stories of Diversity. So if you want your life to be changed and impacted in a way that everybody has shared with you today, get ready, get the hankies, because this is going to go above the summit and it's going to go out into the universe. With that being said, Travis, get ready to do your backflip because the virtual stage is yours, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate all the speakers before me, stories. I love them. So where do mine started, I guess when I was probably about 9. I started really struggling with where I was at. My dad had left very young, and there was anger, there was depression. So about 9 or 10, I had wanted to I had made so many statements about wanting to end my life. And for the longest time, I had struggled with depression. I had struggled with the anxiety of not being enough. Going to school, I hated school. I was in truancy twice because I just hated being around people, and I just felt like I wasn't fitting in. Um, I went from like 130 pounds to 85 pounds in 5th grade because they started putting me on Adderall. Then they put me on Concerta, which are both stimulants. And then I went to Strattera, and then I was on Zoloft, and I was just bouncing around on so many different medications. Um, I was in mental hospitals, behavior facilities. I would fight with my mom. At one point in time, we had an argument about when I stayed home, and the argument got really rough, and I ended up throwing something at her. And I mean, I regret it till this day, but it hit her, and I ended up in a juvenile detention facility that night. And my dad had contacted me while I was there, and it just brought all the emotions back. Um, that was one thing that really messed with me was inside was how can a father not want anything to do with his kid? Um, so for years I struggled with that. And then around 6, God no, 13, 14 is when I started using drugs, started smoking pot, started doing cocaine, um, Xanax, Percocet. So right around 19, I mean, I was a full-blown addict almost, and I kept having all this pain. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Well, I didn't have any insurance, so they sent me to the pain clinic. And at that time, it was cheaper for me to be on pain pills than it was for me to go through seeing doctors because I didn't have any insurance. Um, so I was selling pot at the time to like fund my addiction. And then when that money ran out because I was burning up more pills than I could make money on, I ended up being about right before my 21st birthday. I had gone into detox. I was having my first kid at that time, and I knew at that time something was wrong. I needed to go get some help. So that was my first time walking into a detox facility, and I walked out on my 21st birthday sober. And then I just went to work. I worked for a local restaurant in the area, and I fought the addiction for a while. There was times that I had to come off methadone, which methadone is almost like heroin, if anybody ever knows. And I ended up still having some pain. And oh, when I had my blood work done before I lost my insurance, they said I had an autoimmune disease and a deficiency, but I never was able to get it figured out exactly, probably because I didn't want to. And my mom has lupus, so I was scared to find out exactly. So I ended up like on tramadol, and tramadol to me is like an opiate. It doesn't do the same work, but as an addict, it did what I wanted to do. It made me feel what I wanted to feel almost. So when that ran out, and it was back to it again. I was on Suboxone. I've been on methadone, and also while dealing with depression. And man, I was in my 20s, and from 10 to 20, I would hurt myself. I would burn myself with cigarettes. I just struggled so much with not feeling like I was good enough. And then right before I really had started, I went to the detox. I had lost two of my cousins within 4 months to suicide. So it was just, and then my brother on my dad's side shot himself, and it was just a lot to struggle with. And I'm just thinking, why, I don't know. It was a lot. And in the meantime, I had three girls at that time, three little girls, and I eventually was I 25, 26, 25, about 26, I had gotten on to Suboxone full time. And I didn't want to go into the rooms of like NA because I still felt like I didn't fit in. And I just worked. That's all I did. I just worked and dealt with the depression, and which I didn't deal with it because it was still inside. I didn't deal with the root problems. So I'm covering all my problems up with this medication and these drugs and smoking pot and drinking. Um, just wanting to feel normal. Just wanting to feel normal. But I'm putting all this stuff into my body and I'm not feeling normal. And a couple years ago, um, met a new girlfriend and we had a baby together. And I think the baby had changed me, realizing like I didn't want to have to wake up every morning to take something just to feel normal. I wanted to feel normal on my own skin, on my own time. So February of 24, I got off Suboxone, and there was a shot that they were able to give me to help me come off it. It still wasn't easy, but I came off Suboxone. I've been off Suboxone. I quit smoking nicotine. I used to smoke cigarettes, but I quit that about 10 years ago. But I've been Suboxone free for over 2 years, no opiates, nothing. I quit drinking. I quit smoking pot. Um, Pot did help for the time being, but as an addict in my skin, if I pick it up, I want to do more. I just want to feel, but I don't want to feel. I want to be able to feel now and not have something numb it. And so, and I've realized like I'm in my life right now, I'm picking up where I left off when I first started using. So all the emotions are coming back. When I met Faber, we had burned something that we wanted to let go, and mine was to let go of the pain like between me and my dad. And I didn't let it go. It still bothered me deep inside because like I love my kids and I would do anything for them. So I don't understand how somebody couldn't. We had Me and my girlfriend had gone to Shenandoah Valley in Virginia. My dad lived about 2 or 3 hours away in West Virginia. I woke up one morning, hopped on Facebook. We had no mutual friends. Said I knew, and he popped up. So I reached out to him. We went to go see him. And I think right then and there, it told me what I need to know. He wasn't like, he was an addict. He had showed me his coin for like 20 years, but he didn't show the remorse. He didn't say, man, I want you to forgive me. So I realized I need to forgive myself for everything that I've caused to be able to just move on so I can be the father, the loving person that I need to be in my life towards my girlfriend, future wife, just everything that I need to do for myself and just let that go. Yes, that's who it's made me be. And like I said before, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm working towards my future, and that I never thought in a day in my life that I would be speaking and sharing my story. Um, since I met Faber, man, my life has changed. He was a good friend of my cousin's, and I'm just glad that I'm here being able to share my story, hear other stories, and just experience it all. I think that's about it.
Seriously, Mike, you had to have me follow him. Come on, dude. Travis,
Well, yeah. Sorry.
don't be
Sorry.
sorry. You
Um.
and Faber do this to me all the time. Um, Travis, dude, you did this a week ago, week and a half ago during the summit, and you did it again here. And I'm excited to share with everybody that Travis is coming back to the Mountain Summit Virtual in April, and so is Mary, and so is Hummel. Um,
Oh, I am.
yeah, dude, you're the main sponsor
I
of.
know. I'm playing with you.
Yeah, I know you are, of the Mountain Summit, and so you're always in it. Um, but Travis, bro, a week and a half ago, that was your first one, and today is your second one. And what I love about you, bro, and I know Faber said this, and he knows this because he's been this longer than me. What I love about your speaking style and how you do this is it's not polished. There's no script. It's not perfect. It's vulnerable. It's real. It's coming from your heart. And like I told you a week and a half ago, I know that today wasn't surrounded by your cousin, but it feels like I know your cousin because I know you and I know Faber. And when Tish McDaniel did that live at the beginning of the week, and what you shared today, the only way I can really move forward in my life now, obviously, I'm doing that through what I do with NBM and being a part of this, is one of the biggest things I struggle with is I couldn't trade places with Joey because I was the heart patient in the family, and but I need to forgive myself for that. And the way I do that is that when I do that, I can truly honor Joey. And I always share this story when we were all at. I know you weren't a part of the fam back then, yeah, dude. But when we were at Movement Maker Live in 24, Trent Shelton said, "How can you expect your loved one to rest in peace if you're not living in peace?"
Amen.
And so, brother, you got a bright future ahead of you, man, because the piece that you shared about your father not showing any remorse and asking for forgiveness, and you were able to realize that instantly, you're already light years ahead of a lot of people. And that's something to be extremely proud of. And you're teaching your kids what it means to be a man, a father, and a lot of men that are older than you, like me and Michael, we need to aspire to be more like you. And that's what movements like mine, like Faber's, and like Hummel's, as men, we need to aspire to be more like you.
Making me cry. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, bro. What do you got, Mary?
All right, thanks, David. Wow, David, follow that. I don't even want to talk right now. But Travis, you are really strong for sharing and sharing your heart and being vulnerable. Keep doing that. There needs to be more men that do that. That's what makes women feel safe when men can be vulnerable. What I do want to talk about is the pain. One tramadol like that. I've taken it too. So it uh, yes, but to deal with the pain, choosing to deal with the pain and figuring to get through that, it's not easy. That is not easy. That is going to make you really strong into other areas of your life when you choose to do it sober. And so keep doing that, and you have support. And you and I, this is my second time really speaking too, so we're on the same track, and I'm here for support if you need it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fearless leader, what do you
Yes,
got
sir.
for us?
Yes, sir. Well, we are at that moment where we only have one speaker left, and we have one speaker left, and I get to introduce you because you've done 99% of the work today. So I just wanted to start off. This one is gonna mean the most. This one means more than most. Um, I do what I do because I want to help and I want to make a difference. And I started this probably 7 months or so ago, and you came in a month later, and I could do what I do with, but you make it so much more important and meaningful and fun and just enjoyable. And I, you just make everything I do better. So, and I'm grateful for the fact that we've become such good friends since you joined Stars of Diversity, and you make everything more just better. So thank you, Mr. David Pavlik, my co-host.
Well, first and foremost, brother, it is my honor to be asked to be your co host on this because, the vision and the mission started with you, and you have the heart. And when you asked me to speak on your platform, it was a truly humbling experience for me. And to then partner alongside you to level up and bring this to the point where we're at today, it was a no brainer for me. Last month, when I wasn't going to be able to be on with you, my business partner, Austin Cunliffe, was going to step in and help you run the Zoom and be a part of it. And that's just the true meaning behind community and family. That's what we do. We always step up. The next man up when one of us is not available. It's like in a football team. Next man up when one goes down and is injured. And it's an honor to be with you. And our friendship has turned into a brotherhood like it has with a lot of the men in the MBM group and the Unleash You Now group, and there's a lot of sisters that I have thanks to the Unleash You Now group and the MBM group, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you for allowing me to be alongside you on this journey. We've had some bumps along the road that we always laugh and joke about, and but that's what happens when you're building a movement. There are a lot of people out there that want to become professional speakers and strive to do that. But then there are men and women that want to create movements, that want to create an impact instead of making the millions of dollars. Even though there's nothing wrong with that, right? But when you can make a serious impact and change people's lives, that's where it starts. And that's what you've done here. And you're going to continue to do that. And I'll be with you every step of the way. My journey began in a lot of different areas. And we could be here for a couple days if I told you the entire story. But there was a time in my life where I was a lot like Sierra Grana. I was the toughest guy in high school. I never played football really, but I could throw a football. I always loved being a quarterback, but I never went out for the football team because I was a little intimidated because I was a little chunkier. I was always the guardian, the protector in school for the ones that would be picked on. And when I graduated, I still kept on that persona. I even remember the times that I shared about earlier when I was a part of this father son ministry where we would take up 30 fathers and sons up into the Canadian wilderness. And no technology, we would have campfires, we would have propane tanks and grills, right? To be able to cook meals like steaks. We would have man food because we could do whatever we wanted in moderation because our dads were there. Now, I was a little bit of the older son up there. I started doing this when I was 17, 18 years old, and the group was designed around mentoring to the fathers in their 40s and the kids. The youngest kid that could go up there was around 10 years old. So with me being up there around 17, 18, and I did this until I was in my mid 30s, there was an age gap. But when I got into my 20s, we would always take our canoes that were fully loaded with our fishing gear, our tackle boxes, our raincoats, because up in Canada, we could get thunderstorms that would sock in for 2 or 3 days. And, you know, my father and I were always used to that because we would travel all over the world going big game hunting for caribou or elk. But when we would go fishing, we would have waders that we would wear while everybody else were freezing because they would only bring jeans, long johns, and jackets. But we would come up with waders and our rain slickers, and you know, it'd be cold, but at least our pants were dry. And so when we would decide to get out of one lake and go up into another lake, we would have to portage the canoes across land. Now, to do that, we would keep all of our gear in the canoes. And that would weigh, the canoe itself would weigh about 150, 175 pounds with the motor on the back, with another 50 pounds in the canoe. And the rule was the sons and the dads would have to work together to portage the canoes. So there'd be 4 or 5 guys with the dads and the sons, and we would all work together. Well, here am I at the age of 20, 21, 22 years old, and I was built like the way I am now, with a little bit of more weight on me, and everybody knew me back in the day as the bull. And my father made this harness that would go across my chest like this, and he would attach it to the bow of the boat. And the sons would always laugh because the dads would come up, grab the side of the canoe, and when I would get down sort of like into a football stance, the sons would look over at each other, and a couple of the new dads would go, "Why are you guys laughing?" Because the rookie dads would come up and get ready to help me. And one of the sons, Randy Turner, who was one of my oldest friends here in Colorado, would look and go, "Watch, you're going to check out what Dave is about to do to these rookie dads." And I would get down into my football stance and I would take off. And the dads would try to keep up with me, but once I got my momentum going, they would fall aside like the Three Stooges. Nobody could keep up with me. And I was always known as the toughest son up on the island. And I always embraced that because I loved that title. I could carry the heaviest cooler. I would bring logs down on my shoulder for the guys who were cutting up the chainsaws. I could handle the chainsaws, and I loved that. And then all of a sudden it changed. March 19th, 2022. It was 1:45 p.m. in the afternoon. Stepped out of my school bus. We just had a foot of snow the day before. Next thing I know, my feet come out from underneath me, and I fall backwards, and I'm trying to catch myself. And then all of a sudden, everything goes black. I don't know how long I was unconscious for. Right after that, all I remember is looking up at the sky, freezing because of that snow. My head was throbbing with so much pain. My shoulders were aching. My back was aching. I felt like I was going to throw up. But I managed to pull myself off of the ground. And I stumbled into the terminal to put my keys and my tablet back into the cubbyhole where I would return my equipment. I walked up to where the dispatchers were, and they said, "Where have you been?" And apparently at that time, I really don't remember the day because I hit my head so hard that I was not making sense. I wasn't coherent when I was talking. I made my way out to my truck because I couldn't stay inside the building because the lights were so bright. It was extremely loud. And I sat in my truck, and out of the blue, my parents called me, and they never called me when I was at work. They called me up, and the next thing I know, I'm being put into my assistant's car because we always had a TEA on the bus to manage the kids because I was a special needs school bus driver back in the day. They take me to, instead of the emergency room, I went over to the workman's comp doctor, and the workman's comp doctor then said, "No, I can't do anything for this guy because I can tell he's not coherent. His eyes are going wonky. He needs to go over to urgent care." I'm taken over to urgent care, and I'm still not understanding what's going on. All I heard was his skull is filling up with blood. He needs to be taken to ICU over at Parker Adventist. I'm then put on a gurney. I'm laying on that gurney for over 4 hours. The ambulance shows up. They take me over to Parker Adventist. I'm admitted into the ICU. The only thing I remember from that one specific day is I'm laying there, and I remember one of the nurses saying, "This kid is lucky that we don't have to drill burr holes because his brain is starting to unswell." Here's the thing about invisible injuries, disabilities. While I was there at urgent care, I don't think they quite understood what was going on because they didn't see, not only did I have one brain bleed, I had 3. If they knew the seriousness of the brain injury that I had at that time, they would have rushed me over faster to Parker Adventist Hospital. Because my brain swelled so much, a month later, because I kept on having these burning sensations in the back of my skull, they found out 2 or 3 weeks later that my cerebral tonsils were pushed down to 4 millimeters. Which apparently, what I didn't know until after they did a specialized MRI, at 4 millimeters, that's nearly fatal. And that they were prepping to do a emergency surgery. But because that my brain went back into normal levels, the tonsils came back almost to their normal levels, but they're still lying low. I'm almost 4 years out since my accident. But to this day, I still deal with migraines and headaches. And the thing is, with invisible injuries and disabilities, I can carry on a conversation. I look like there's nothing wrong with me, right? But I'm exhausted. I can pump everybody up. But it takes a lot of work for me to do that. Because right now I have a migraine. Right now I am exhausted. I wake up every morning around 8:30, 8:45 in the morning. By 12 o'clock I'm gassed. Because my brain works in overtime to process everything. When people look at me and say, "Oh no, Dave, you're fine," all you have to do is just push through it. 20 years ago, that's what I used to do. And now at the age of 42, well, 41, I had a knee replacement because I pushed through it, because I had bad knees. But when it comes to a brain injury with a mild traumatic brain injury, you can only push yourself so far. Physical strength, when I mentioned what I was able to do back 20 years ago, with that pure strength that I physically could pick up, yeah, that was cool and that was amazing and that could impress the ladies back then. But you know what really impresses people? Not only ladies, but it's the inner strength that you have within yourself to believe when you can step back and take time for yourself and to rest, to give yourself compassion. Because when you can do that, that eliminates the negative talk that creeps in, like you heard from Mary and Sierra. If you need to take those 2 or 3 days to give yourself time to recover, to let your body rest, that's when your new beginnings can happen. I have those in my life that constantly worry about me because my older brother passed away back in 2018. I'm not married, I'm divorced. And that time, at some point, my parents who've been at my side, their time will come. And the constant worry is who's going to take care of Dave when their time has come? And I always ask this question, why not me? Because I know I can take care of me. So I want to encourage everybody who's in this Zoom room and on Facebook land. Trust your inner strength. There are going to be days that you're going to be tired and exhausted. Listen to your body. Trust the inner strength that you have within yourself. Lean in to those communities such as Michael's community, because he is the leading expert in this field. He built this community so that people with disabilities can have a voice to be heard. You heard all of these powerful, incredible stories that I know has shifted your heart and soul. You heard it from Travis before me, how he had that realization that he needed to shift some things within his own life. If you're struggling with what he has struggled with, reach out to him. If anything has resonated with you today, you can reach out to Michael and he'll connect you to all of these beautiful speakers. The time is now to act, to give yourself grace and compassion, to stand up, to advocate. And if somebody tells you that you just need to push through it, the only person that you need to listen to is not others, but to yourself. And maybe get out of your head and get into your heart, because your heart knows you better. And before we wrap up this month's Story of Diversity, I'm going to bring back our fearless leader so he can have his closing remarks. And then we're going to wrap this thing up. And then we'll get back next month. We'll have dates to come and speakers. And with that being said, what do you got for us, Michael Martin Hummel, a.k.a. Michael Rooney?
I just want to first thank you for what you said. it meant a lot. And you're always impactful, and I love listening to you speak. And I'm grateful for you. Thank you for everything that you do. And just thank you for, because I know I haven't been, well, the last few months have been hard. And you've definitely picked up my slack. So I appreciate you greatly. Thank you.
You're very welcome, brother. I've always got your back, and I'll pick it up where you need me to pick it up, and we'll keep on doing what we do, and that's all what it's about being a community. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, Captain America, Iron Man, that wraps this month's of Stories of Diversity. Next month, we'll be streaming this onto Journey Forward with MBM, and we're going to be promoting the Stories of Diversity. Everybody in Facebook land, have a beautiful night. And everybody in Zoom land, hang with me as we close it out on Facebook. I just got a couple updates for y'all, and I need to update Michael on something. And we'll just close it out tonight. May everybody have a beautiful night. May the Lord richly bless and keep you, and may His smile shine down upon you. Give somebody a big hug, and we'll see y'all next month. Hang on. Too many tabs